Every single red flag that all of the narc abuse educators warn you about were present at the start of this relationship. Seriously, he checked off every bullet point of the narc red flag checklist, except I didn't see them as red flags. I got so wrapped up in the good feelings at the start of the relationship, which is also a red flag, that I thought I was the exception to the rule. I learned the hard way that there are reasons why they call them red flags. If you're new to my page, my name is Jackie and I'm giving real examples of emotional abuse tactics so that you can spot them in your relationships. Red flag number 1, he love bombed the shit out of me. Leading up to the first date, he was fairly normal, but as soon as we had the first date, he wouldn't leave me alone, meaning he was demanding all of my time. But I had no boundaries and I thought this behavior was endearing, so it perfectly triggered my attachment trauma. By day 3, he said, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm falling in love with you. And after 2 weeks, we were soulmates. Flowers and dates and nice gestures. He drove an hour to my house in the middle of a snowstorm just to shovel my sidewalk. He fixed broken water lines under my septic holding tank. He found me a new car when I got into an accident 3 weeks after we met. And he found me an apartment and daycare when I moved to a town that was close to him. He moved the relationship on very quickly. And I remember thinking right before we moved in together that I was never more sure of anything else in my life, because we were so connected and we were so in tune with each other. But when I reflect back on why I felt that way, it largely was because that's what he told me. Throughout all of this, he would make these really vague statements about how amazing I was, how connected we were, how in sync we were. He couldn't actually articulate what he liked about me. None of them had anything to do with me as a person. Red flag number 2, he was only 3 months out of a 10-year relationship with his ex-wife, and she was abusive and a cheater. He tried everything to keep his family together, but he couldn't do anything right by her. All she did was criticize him and make lists of all the things that he needed to change. She ultimately took everything and left him with nothing. While at the time this completely devastated him and led him to depression, he saw the error of his ways and he learned that he's too trusting. Red flag number 3, my family didn't like him. He pushed their boundaries and they saw him jokingly degrade me. I didn't compute that both of those things were reflective of entitlement, and I didn't listen to their warnings. My rose-colored glasses were super glued to my face by all the love bombing and future faking he did. And red flag number 4, he future faked. He learned everything that I wanted, marriage and more kids, and he used this to lure me into moving in with him. He asked me the kind of ring that I wanted. He picked out our wedding song. He was describing the house that we would buy together. He co-created this beautiful future and he was going to give me everything that I wanted. But instead of waiting to see if he delivered, I trusted his words before he demonstrated anything through action. All of these things combined create a false sense of emotional intimacy, which ultimately led me moving in with him earlier than I had planned. And of course, it only took 3 weeks after living together before the devaluation started. And then it took me 3 years to unravel all of those red flags and for me to figure out what was going on, because I continued to make excuse after excuse for his terrible behavior. There is a reason why they are called red flags, because these behaviors are demonstrative of somebody who's emotionally unhealthy. If somebody's tingling your attachment and it's only been a couple weeks, that's your body warning you that they are unsafe. Don't do what I did.